That's a good thing. This and be like, oh my God, it's me.
Good morning.
Bro, I hear that. It's people back again.
Back in the stew. Back again.
Back again. Your favourite bunch. You got man like Axe. Man like S9.
Got man like Seonshapes.
Got man like Chargie D.
Yes, people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
we've been watching this thing called Social Dilemma on Netflix.
Yeah. So it only came out recently on Netflix, and the whole premise behind it is like it starts out by all these people that have just come from certain companies, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Google. They've been working there for say like 10, 15 years. Some of them were there when it started, and they've all come together to basically talk about why. How these companies use our data to control the way that we're fed information. So I'll give you an example. They've got these behavioural techniques to ensure that we're staying on certain apps for a certain amount of time. Because basically, the whole premise behind it is that we are the product of that they're trying to. We are the product, and they are trying to manipulate us as much as possible to stay on these apps. That's their whole goal. Mm-hmm. The whole goal of Instagram and everything is to stay on that app. How can I keep you engaged on that app? Mm-hmm. So, one guy that works for Instagram turned around and he said, when you're scrolling through Instagram, Instagram will track how long you're staying on a post for. So it's almost like, imagine scrolling through Instagram, you stop on something that you see, and then imagine like a little stopwatch starts. And it's just counting how long you're watching that post for. Mm-hmm. And then it stores it in this massive database of all the things you like doing, and it'll keep storing all of those different things, and then your algorithms for yourself will start changing.
Sounds like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's a matrix in its own kind of way. It's making sure that you're staying engaged, it's making sure that you're doing certain things to basically just stay on their apps. And it went into the whole discussion of Generation Z, which is people that are born from like 1996 onwards, and how
young things,
yeah, how they're literally like millennials as well, how they're groped into this social media world. You know, like for me, I was born in 94. I remember what it was like not having a phone that time. I remember dial-up. I remember AOL.
92.
You know what I mean? So like, I remember certain things when like having a phone wasn't. You know what I mean? You had a phone to play snakes, and that was it. And text and fool people. But now it's like kids got so much, access to so much information.
It's the internet, bro.
It's the internet, and you even had someone else from Twitter that was talking about, my personal opinion, and he backed this up, is that humans aren't meant to interact with that many people all at once. Yeah. Like, it's the frequencies of being... it's like, all right, so Twitter, yeah, like if you scroll once on Twitter, sometimes you can see 10 different tweets. Some of them might be graphic, some of them might have some stupid opinion, some of them might be actually quite helpful. But the fact that you're seeing all of those different things at once, just scrolling, it's not good for your brain's not meant to take in all that information all at once. And then that leads to so many different things. They were talking about since 2005, when sort of the hype of 2009 and 10 as well, actually, more so, when a lot of these platforms really kicked off. Like Instagram. I remember when Instagram came out and I didn't really use it. I was in uni.
BlackBerry Messenger.
It's BlackBerry Messenger before that. But even when Instagram came out, it was just this picture sharing platform. And it's just taken off to be where it is nowadays. But say around that 2010 mark, things like the suicide rates in teenagers has gone up from ages of like 13 to 19, and then even like kids just younger than that. So, but that's the general kind of backstory to
contain it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like when you watched like a film like The Social Network, where it shows the come up of Facebook. The initial idea was brilliant to interact with people online. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It was never thought of before, but they couldn't contain how fast it spread, and the effects that it would have on people. Like they didn't. I don't think they gave any thought to how somebody's comment on the internet would affect someone else who it's being said about.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And do you know what I was thinking as well? Because there's
they didn't care. Sorry, actually, they didn't. Sorry. You know, in the social. Have you seen the social network?
Yeah.
You know when they did?
They didn't care. They just want money, innit?
No, you know when they did the who's hotter, this girl or that girl?
Yeah.
That's where it kind of started. But they actually didn't care. They continued.
Yeah.
So that's how I would say. They just don't care about it.
I'm just saying, like, it's mad because you know, there was a scene, and you see it a lot, where a family could be sitting around the table, and if someone's like, oh yeah, no phones, you'll see how much, you know, not even a family, just people sitting around, how much they actually conversed, you know what I mean? And you'll see that they won't really converse that much, you know what I mean? Sometimes I've been out and I've seen people on dates and they're both glued to their phone, and it's like the food's all going cold and that, and you're thinking, what's going on?
It's the younger generation.
But you even get some of the older ones as well.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I think it's fair, because sorry, go on.
I was gonna say that I think the reason why it's that it kind of has no age boundary is because we as humans need confirmation sounds and things like that for a lot of things. So for example, there's a reason why Snapchat or Instagram or iMessage does that ping, or Snapchat's got that really weird kind of little notification sound.
Yeah.
I was watching something else, not to go off topic, but there's another program called High Score on Netflix, which talks about the introduction of gaming world and all the
That's a
Atari and
dangerous
blah
world,
blah.
fam.
That's
That world is
and these two kind of shows interlink in their own way, but they were talking about the guy that made all the sounds for Nintendo, like Super Mario and things like that, and he turned around and he said that humans need confirmation sounds. There's a reason why when you hit something on Mario that you get that, because you need, as a human, you need something to happen. So that's why when your phone's sitting on the side, you're watching a movie, sitting there, you have no reason to look at your phone, and you hear ping, and you look over, but the simple fact that you looked, like, our phones and technology were meant to be started out as tools. They were meant to be tools, and they speak about this. They've switched from tools to be something that we need constantly. A tool by definition is something that you pick up and use when you need to use it. Like when it's a bike or it's something in your garden shed. Do you know what I mean? You don't need it next to you all the time, but it's something you pick up and use. Our phones have become this thing of, like, if we don't have our phone, it's like, what am I doing with my life? Like, you know what I mean? There's been times you've probably left your phone charging in another room, and in the back of your mind, you're still thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Or have you ever been on your phone, like, you'll be on Instagram and you'll be like, alright, cool, let me go on something else, and then it's like you blink and all of a sudden you're back on Instagram and you're like, I was like, when did I close that out? When did I
it depends on what your preferred social media platform is.
But like, obviously for me it's Instagram, so it's just like, sometimes I'll just be like, it's actually just a mad habit, and I said to myself, that's why I remember,
because you want to see what's going on. That's what it is.
But that it's like, I don't know, man.
It's not necessary though.
That's why I had to go. Remember, I went on that the detox for like half a year, and I tell you, it was lovely. It's hard to do, because if I told you to delete your social network things or whatever, you're not gonna do it straight away. Do you know what I mean? But if you do it, trust me, you feel so much better. Do you know what I mean? And even what you're saying about the whole gaming world, when I was watching this thing, I was thinking about the gaming world, about, like, obviously ever since lockdown, we've been in Verdansk. We've been in the gulag. We've lived there,
and that's the thing as well. Like in terms
they
of
could
gaming,
control me, fam.
No words.
Do you know what I mean?
In terms of gaming, like you're saying, is dangerous, because you just end up getting. It's so mad, because one game. Hey lads, quick, let's have a game of Warzone, cool. That turns into an all-night thing. You blink and it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, lads,
when you
we need to go to bed.
Dreaming about the game and all of
you
that.
You wake up. Yeah. Sean's been having dreams about Verdansk.
I've been saying, because do you know what happens? Yeah, it's mad. Like, for me, when I go bed late, obviously my mind doesn't turn off. I used to do this thing where I'll be on the game for all hours, and then to go bed I'll watch some Netflix. So I'm in front of a screen, screen time and all that, or blue screen or whatever. So my mind's, even though I've gone to sleep, my mind's not switched off. So therefore my mind's still doing all this and whatever. And obviously when I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm here jumping, ducking, flipping around. You know how it is, isn't it? So like now, when I'm sleeping now, I swear it's like I'm just playing Call of Duty, fam, and I just keep going through, keep going gulag. I'm even thinking about, do you know what? That gun had no recoil. I'm gonna try that when I wake up. I'm just like little things like that, and I'm thinking, bro, it is
It's
mad.
an obsession, fam.
It's mad. It is mad.
Do you know what that is? Yeah, that's just programming, bro. You actually programmed your mind. To become Call of Duty, fam. Like you've institutionalized yourself with Call of Duty.
But do you know what? Now it's Call of Duty. Before, like
FIFA or something.
Like not even just FIFA, but I've got a very active mind, so I kick when I sleep in that, innit?
Yeah.
So like, I kick out when I
kick when I sleep.
I kick out
I've done
when I
that. If
sleep
I'm
in
watching something or I've been playing some games or something like that, and my mind's active, I've when you wake up in the middle of the night, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I remember kicking in my sleep or something.
I don't know. Like when I sleep, I kick in my sleep. But when my mind is active, like unlike yourself, I don't sleep. I stay awake. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't. There's been nights where I've actually gone the whole night not sleeping. And I get up, but I'm tired in the morning. Because my mind just can't shut off. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether it's life, whether it's stress, whether it's you got too many things on your mind. But when I get that feeling, like when you've been watching, for example, what happens to me, whereas you man play games, I'll watch series, innit? So I will bang like for example, like you got a Game of Thrones or you got Vikings, like these are long series. But I will bang a season in a few days. Do you get what I'm saying? And my mind, when I dream, I'll be like, I'm thinking I'm some Viking somewhere. And I'm in the forest, or I got to tell Floki something. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, no, honestly.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, I think my one is. No, honestly, like even like Narcos and things like that. You start thinking, you start listening to more Latina music, like Latin music and that, and you start thinking, you start holding yourself in a certain demeanor, like Narcos, like I can do that, fam. I'm Narcos. You get what I'm saying? Like
I'm Pablo,
fam.
Bro,
Give me Pablo.
It was so jokes. I remember I used to start practicing. You know how Pablo looks out the window in that?
But it's true. It's true, fam. It's programming. They hook you. That's what they do. They hook you. They hook you in like. It's mad because even there was one time. There's a TV series called Line of Duty. Have you heard of it? Bro, listen. You start thinking feds, are the biggest crooks in this land. But then you start thinking, I don't trust that fed because he could be crooked. Like, he don't look straight. You start looking at feds on the street like, he's not good, man.
That series there, Line of Duty. I finished like 2 seasons in about 2 days.
I've clocked the whole thing, fam.
It's mad. Even everything you said is crazy because even going back to what we said about some of the apps that are out there, it's like there's a reason why Twitter is blue because blue psychologically keeps you awake. The color blue keeps you awake because you think it's daytime. So in your mind, that's why Twitter, and that's why
the background was blue. Instagram was
blue. Facebook as well. It's all these tactics. It's all these the people that create these things. They sit down in rooms with psychologists. And they find behavioural techniques to keep you on their apps because they are trying to find a way to keep you there.
The UX
and that's why they introduce things like trying to reduce your screen time or give you like dark mode on your phone and things like that. So it gives you it's like this thing of like, you have the other option to do it, but the standard setting isn't dark mode. It's not a different color scheme or whatever. But it's like it's almost just covering their backs.
With say, we gave this options.
At the end of the day, we are the product. The people want the people that create these programs want us on their apps for as long as possible, and a lot of it's to do with it's the advertisement of it and everything. To the point now where a lot of these companies who not companies, sorry. There's a lot of countries that even are paying into certain apps like Instagram and things like that, to the point where you got like Facebook running certain polls for elections. Like these that's the level it's got to now.
Because they know that the internet, there's always going to be money to be made from the internet now.
Yeah.
You can't. If you're into tech, you cannot be broke.
Like, remember what they said about the nations can nations can influence other nations without even stepping foot on their land. And internet companies are the most
biggest companies
like
100.
today. Do you know what I mean?
All somebody has to do is sit in front of a screen, talk a lot of rubbish for the whole day, or for like a couple minutes or so, and because their following is so broad, somebody can reach out to them and say, just promote this for us. Do you know what I'm saying? You get paid for it.
A lot of these internet companies are...
It's easy money.
A lot of these internet companies are the first time you've ever seen companies reach a certain stature of like money. Like you look at Apple. Apple's worth, was it 2 trillion? 2 trillion. They can basically buy like Tesla, all the rest of them, and still be left with change, and they're fine. They can buy countries. Apple. That's how big they are. I think one other thing they touched on in the Social Dilemma as well was AI. So AI,
intelligence.
we used to sit there and think that in the future, when we used to watch things like Back to the Future or iRobot or Terminator, that we thought that robots are going to be coming in and doing it. And that's not to say that
I don't even want to talk about that.
I know, but like I'm not touching on that. I'm touching on the fact that AI is.
You see what they're building?
But AI is already, our phones are
already here.
AI is already here. Like
no, it's been here, fam.
It's been.
Have you seen what they're building? They're trying to build robots that have their own
human intelligence, their own like emotions,
emotional intelligence. Do you know how mad that is?
It's mad. But when you think about it, your phone does that. Your phone does that, bro.
Your phone is doing certain behavioural techniques to keep you engaged on it.
Yeah, but your phone doesn't have its own free will.
Obviously, it does.
And that's the funny thing with AI. Yeah, AI. There's in like Nevada and places like that in America. There are warehouses, underground warehouses, for miles long, stacked for miles long, with computers with just and all they've done is that they've built code into them and all these algorithms. So, but the problem with algorithms and code is that once you put it into the system does what it wants with it. You can't control it from there. So humans, like people that do coding and things like that, once you put it into that system of like an AI, like an algorithm, it takes its own life of its own. It takes on a life of its own, and we can't control it. So it's almost this thing now. We've gotten to the point in our lives where we can't control what's going on.
You see
even
Tenet?
Humans. Huh?
Have you seen Tenet?
No, not yet.
Seen what?
See, if you man had watched that film, I've seen it twice now. I need to see it again because you need to clock it. You see, if you watch that film, I think your take on that algorithm would be a tiny bit different. Just a tiny bit. I can't talk about it.
But then would you say that?
No, because I agree with what you guys are saying.
Would you say that, like Inception? Inception is a dream within a dream.
Inception is much easier. It was people could watch. Hold on. Sorry.
So Inception is like a dream within a dream. You can say that's real life. I don't think that is real life. Do you know what I mean? People can say that maybe the Matrix. Sometimes they can say it's real life or whatever. Would you say that Tenet is something that would be closer to representing the Matrix in terms of being something that's can be relatable to real life, or is it just a good concept? Do you know what I mean?
I think Tenet's scary. I think
is it scary because it can be real?
When you clock it, I think it's scary because like the reality is we just don't know what people are building out there.
Yeah,
we don't know what people are doing.
Yeah,
and the way Tenet is set up is like, what if that did happen?
Yeah.
It's so close to home. Like the way technology is moving nowadays. The advancement of technology, how advanced it is. What if that did happen?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? What if somebody's actually clocked something, but they're just holding back?
And they're working on it.
And they're just working on it. But or something goes wrong by accident.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like when you guys watch Tenet, you're gonna need to watch it more than once.
Yeah.
Then we can come back to that conversation.
Because it's from the same creators as Inception, isn't it? Or the same director or something that made.
But I'll tell you this for free: Inception was a very, very good film, but you wouldn't. Some people can easily say that I caught it after watching it once.
Yeah.
Tenet, you can't catch it after watching it once.
Yeah, you got to go.
I've
back.
not heard anyone to catch Tenet after one.
How do you spell it?
Tenet.
Okay, Tenet.
Yeah, it's a new movie. Just come out recently.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying they don't like it because they don't understand. But I think it's
Just wondering, you know the name?
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's 10 and then 10 backwards. Is that something to do with?
I can't say it because you know me. You know what I'm like, bro. I don't want to open my mouth.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if,
But just know it's got something to do with time.
Yeah, of
Do you
course,
understand?
yeah.
And I
And
think-
algorithms.
And that's why I think it's but no, it's important that if when you get a chance, even the listeners, watch The Social Dilemma because it's amazing to see what's actually going on out there, you know, right underneath right in our faces, and we actually know what's going on.
Tonight, brother.
You know, like even when I watched it, and I was halfway through it, and I looked at my phone with disgust. Honestly, I looked at my phone, and I was like, is this what you're doing to me? And it was almost like they say it in it as well. It's a subtle change to your behaviour. It's not this drastic thing that happens immediately. It's this thing that's built over years and years and years of you doing a particular thing, and then it just becomes a habit. And it's so scary when you're sitting there, you're watching it, you're like, I actually do that. I sit there as soon as my phone beeps or whatever, I'm looking at it.
In saying that though, have you guys not felt that when you are away from your phone, you feel a bit better anyway?
Well,
Yeah,
but not straight away though.
For me,
Because I'm thinking of like with my like say my WhatsApp chats, obviously in a lot of groups in it, and so I'm always on do not disturb. So then when I'm away from my phone, I'm thinking, these man could actually be having a debate without me, or you know, like
Right,
anything
you
could
think
be
like
going on.
Like,
do you know what? That's mama. Do you know what? I actually don't feel like that. I feel like when I see a lot of messages, I get excited because I'm like, you know what? This will be an interesting read, and then I chime in where I can. Sometimes the conversation is long gone, so I can't really chime in. I just read it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, in regards to like chats and that on WhatsApp,
Yeah, fam, but that's
I
me.
pay zero attention to them.
But that's me, bro.
Yeah.
Because
I
people
WhatsApp
always
group
cussing me
chats.
like, why do you never reply?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like that,
blah,
but
blah.
I feel like that's your Instagram.
That's your but do you know what? Do you know why that makes sense though? Why you not even just
no,
that?
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
but do you know why
No,
that
no.
makes sense to you? Look, like how you just both said that, but that's like how you said Dan that's me, because that's what it's all. That's what it's all about in the social
you.
dilemma. Your behavioural technique has been adjusted to you as a person, how you look at things, how you do that. Your phone's based it off of you as a character, how Daniel is and how Sion is. You don't like, as in Sion, because I know the listeners can't see me pointing at you. You probably don't do that because you've got so many other notifications coming through on Instagram, because your Instagram is more so a thing. That's not a bad thing. That's just your thing.
Deep it like that.
It's just
No,
sometimes you probably
I need
can't
to
be
watch
bothered to
this.
look at
I need
WhatsApp.
to- I need to watch this.
word is true.
Because you're just like, I have this all day on Instagram.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's
I can't bother
mad
to look at my phone though. Bro.
Honestly, watch it. Yeah, your mind will be blown.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
want
seeing
to
it
clock
tonight.
what my social dilemma is, because the way you man are talking about it, like I know I must have something. Do you know what I mean?
There's one part,
Yeah.
is where they do these sort of real life versions of what they're actually like talking about. They try to put it into like a little bit of a story in a way, like how Sean was talking about like the family that you know can't sit around and have dinner together. You know, they're all watching their phone. The mum's trying to put the phones away in a little locker, and everyone's just sitting there like anxious. But you know, it even comes down to like they've done a little like skit where it's like 3 man in a room just watching you on your phone, and you're just some bot that's just turning
just like
around like this,
looking at
and they
different
just
screens
they-
and that.
and like they can see that you're not really on your phone as much. So they're like, do you know what? Daniel's not been on his phone for about an hour. Let me just throw him a little notification of like, so and so follows so and so. Maybe you should have a look at that. And you see on Instagram,
use the number
this person follows
0700 whatever. Are they in the close proximity? Let me see if obviously they like their post. So let's just fling something in there, like, a little ad as well. They've been looking at trainers. Yeah,
And the way it works is that you ever when you refresh on Instagram, yeah, it's always something new. You can never refresh, and then something comes up until you get through all your posts, and then it starts showing you the old things you may have been looking at, or it's like, oh, you've caught up today, or whatever it is. Other than that, when you keep it, because it keeps feeding you. It's like feeding you. It's crazy.
You know what? I feel like I'm a victim of it, but not on my phone. I feel like I'm more a victim of it when it comes to like anime or TV series. But I don't actually watch a lot of TV. It's only in the evening when I come home.
The thing is, as well, though, I think it's easy for you to think that you're not.
Yeah, fair.
Because
I need to watch it still.
again,
I need to
because
watch
it's
it.
you.
Yeah.
How
I
many
need to
times
watch
I
it.
kept saying like,
I need to watch it.
you know, I know I do that a little bit, but I'm
to my
not.
phone.
I'm not addicted or whatever. But then. I was looking at my phone, and my girl was like, "Oh, what? So the phone's got you there?" And I just said to myself, you need to watch it.
I'm tuning in tonight.
I'm not gonna watch it tonight. Maybe on the weekend.
No, I got
But
time.
just watch it
tonight.
But what?
It's not that long. It's about an hour long or so.
Yeah, just over an hour. Just hold on. So actually, do you know what? I'll do it.
Clap.
I'm making something. Am I moving mad?
Yeah. You trying to run it now?
No.